In what ways has your privacy been violated by the internet?
I wouldn't say violated, but I think, well, I've had a Gmail account for 12 years now, and I think they know absolutely everything about me. So maybe not violated, but I have given them access to most aspects of my life.
Have you ever had to give personal information to websites when it wasn't needed at the time in order to set up or enter a website, phone, or computer?
Um, I think most information is pretty pertinent, but they usually ask for your birthday, and they can tailor a lot of stuff to you, and whether you're male or female. I think that further narrows it down. But I think there's a lot of questions that, even if they ask like 4 or 5 questions, they could be really specific to put you into a category and start targeting things to you right off the bat, even if they haven't tracked you yet.
And what sites tend to gather the most information from you?
Probably any shopping websites, probably the most, and my Gmail, since it's always reading your mail.
Have you noticed internet advertising targeting your personal interest or taste on their sites visited?
Oh, definitely, yeah, all the time. Even if like you're talking in a room, your phone will already have up what you were thinking about or talking about. It's pretty creepy.
What is your biggest complaint about being online?
I think biggest complaint is that people are way more evil online than they are in person. That it gives them a mask to just be really mean.
Oasis.
In what ways has your privacy been violated by the internet?
I feel one of the ways that it's been violated is whenever you open up a new account online, you always have to give a large amount of personal information.
Have you ever had to give personal information to websites, technology, fingerprints, location, etc. when it wasn't needed for at the time in order to set up or enter a website, phone, or computer?
Yes, I have.
What sites tend to gather the most information from you?
I feel like anything like the IRS, Department of Labor, websites like that are like federal tend to gather the most information to make sure that you are the person that's online and applying for the account.
Have you ever noticed internet advertising targeting your personal interest or taste on the sites visited?
Yes, I have. But I also noticed that when you are on these sites, they usually ask you what kind of things interest you, and then you tend to get continuous information online regarding those things that you have interest in.
What is your biggest complaint about being online?
Biggest complaint. I might have had some, but I think I'm used to it now, so I really don't have any complaints.
Okay.
Hi. In what ways has your privacy been violated by the internet?
I use the internet. It's very convenient, but I find it intrusive that they ask a lot of questions and they have all this information about me and then make determinations about what I like.
Okay. Have you ever had to give personal information to websites in order to set up or enter a website, phone, computer,
Yes.
when it wasn't needed for?
Sure. They ask, and the only way to get access to the site is by giving the information, and if I want to have the site, then I have to do it.
What sites tend to gather the most information from you?
Probably Amazon, the New York Times, most of the places that I order from.
Have you noticed internet advertising targeting your personal interests or tastes on their sites visited?
Absolutely. So when I go onto a news site that I like, suddenly up pops an ad for carpet because I was looking for carpets. It has nothing to do with the news, but there it is because obviously they're tracking my interests and what I've looked at. Not necessarily even what I've purchased, but even more intrusive what I've looked at.
So what's your biggest complaint about being online?
is that probably I feel that my choices tend to be directed, not necessarily limited, but directed, because the websites are trying to send me to something that I'm not necessarily interested, but I have been interested in. So I'll tend to go on it because they send it to me, but then my time in terms of what I would have wanted to go and look at by myself seems to be cut down because everybody's sending me information that I should go and look at their website.
Graham Cannon.
In what ways has your privacy been violated by the internet?
I think the scariest thing is I don't know. I mean, I have a sense that so much of what I do and what the forms I fill in and the places I go are being tracked and recorded and logged. But every now and again, I get a sense of it. For example, when I'm on a site and if I've been looking at ads somewhere else and I see those ads pop up on the site that I'm on, I know someone's tracking what I'm doing and what I'm interested in. And then weirdly, a few weeks ago, I got an email about an iPhone I'd lost, and I almost fell for it and realized that it was a hoax. But you know, someone may have known enough to know I'd lost an iPhone at some point and been able to send something out. But as I say, what's really scary is what I don't know about what privacy has gone and what information people have on me.
Well, leading into my second question, have you ever had to give personal information to websites, technology, when it wasn't needed at the time in order to set up a website, phone, computer, anything technology related?
Yeah, I mean, I always have a sense every time I set up something, whether an e-commerce account or if I'm buying something, or I'm on something like Facebook and there's a quiz or something like that. I always have a sense if I'm doing it, I'm giving away way more information than I should. But there's always that sense of if I get something out of it, then it's worth the trade. If I can get a product at half the price, if I'm on eBay and I can get something at half the price, it's worth giving away a bit of information to get it. So I always have that sense of if I'm getting something in return, I'll give something away, but I may have made a mistake and given away too much.
Yeah. What sites tend to gather the most information from you?
I think sort of, financial sites, banking sites and trading sites, gather a lot of information, insurance sites, sort of 401k sites, and you really hope that information is secure. But again, you always have a sense anything you put online could show up somewhere else, and someone could hack into it. I mean, in a weird way, one of the reasons I like having electronic banking is, although I've given a lot of information and I'm putting a lot of information on the internet, I can also track what's happening. So, I can look at my account every day or, several times a day and immediately spot if there's something wrong or something strange going on.
And have you noticed internet advertising targeting your personal interests or tastes on their sites visited?
Yeah, I notice it all the time and more. It's interesting. I mean, basically anything you look at casually just starts following you around on every site. But the thing is, although it's annoying, it's also effective, because I often find that I looked at something, kind of interested in it or forgot about it, that ad then follows me around, and then later in the day I sort of say, I guess I better buy it. So it's annoying, but it's effective.
Yeah. And so what's your biggest complaint about being online?
I'd say sort of loss of time. I mean, I think about when I was your age and, I could go off for the summer for 2 months. I'd make a collect call to my parents, if I remember, sort of once in that entire period. And that was it. I was off the grid, traveling, around the world somewhere with no expectation by anyone. I'd tell them what I was doing or contact them or post information. So, although, technology is great, there's also that concern that you can't have any privacy anymore. In fact, I was at a dinner party last night where the host said that we all had to put our phones away so we'd have real conversation around the table. And actually it was kind of fun. It was sort of good just talking and knowing you couldn't touch your phone for a couple of hours, that it was sort of locked away, and you almost forget what that's like to just be able to talk without an expectation you've got to be connected all the time.
Thank you.